this past Saturday was the first Juneteenth, I guess, celebration as a federal holiday this time. Now, Juneteenth is something that's been around for a while. It was already a holiday in Texas, and I already voiced my opinion on why it shouldn't have been made a federal holiday because of how it would be used, not because of the generalized meaning of it. Now, many people took to Twitter and were talking about this, specifically with Charlie Kirk, maybe a few other people, where they said, well, Trump was looking at passing it. You didn't have a problem with it back then, but now you have a problem with it. Listen, it would have been a smart political move for Trump to have passed that or to put it up for a vote. However, the meaning of it is still a bit ridiculous in the way that the left was going to use it. That's the problem. At least if it passed under Trump, we could say for 5 years from now, 10 years from now, hey, that holiday that you guys love to talk about white hate so much was kind of passed by, I don't know, this guy that you hate a lot, like Trump, right? Like Trump was the one that did this, if that was something that actually took place under his administration. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So it's under Biden, and now they have all the reason in the world to really full scale put this up and say this is going to be used as a white hate holiday, which has already taken place, and I've shown plenty of tweets proving that fact. You don't have to look hard for it. Trust me. Just go to Twitter, type in Juneteenth, and I guarantee you within 5 posts down, you're going to see some person being extremely racist towards white people about the holiday. So, like I said, it happened this weekend, and the thing is that a lot of people, first of all, didn't even know that Juneteenth was a thing. Most of the people that are celebrating it had never heard of this thing before. And by the way, Barack Obama never talked about it in any of his speeches, never brought it up. It was never anything that he dealt with whatsoever. He never even tweeted about it. But, obviously until recently, but during his administration, none of that stuff actually took place. So you had all of these Juneteenth celebrations taking place all across the country. Most of these are going to be in the black neighborhoods. And as suspected, as I kind of thought to myself, it automatically turned violent. So if you're listening to this on the audio version, what you're seeing here is this white lady actually being beaten. They're dragging her around. There's all of these black people and black women surrounding her, punching her, doing all this ridiculousness right in the video there. And this is supposed to be okay? I mean, come on, folks. Is this really what Juneteenth is about? Just beating a bunch of white people up? I don't understand. Now, look, I get it. There isn't a context to it, but I really have a hard time finding this to be validated in any situation. And the reason why is because it gets worse. Because it's not even specifically about this white versus black thing. It gets worse when we're talking about actually what's taking place on their own issues. So, but once again, this isn't a validation for rioting. It never has been, never will be, but we, of course, knew that this would happen because that's what happens anytime there's a black anything being celebrated, that they wind up going off the rails and people start acting like fools. So there's an additional video that's showing a mob of hundreds of rioters tearing through city streets as police struggled to keep the situation under control, and has been seen in recent race riots throughout the country. Several rioters took breaks from the action to twerk while others danced on the tops of moving vehicles. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous to me that this is the behavior that is okay because it's Juneteenth. Might as well twerk in the streets. That's exactly what we should be doing here. That's some real justice happening. I don't understand it. So an emergency responder was actually shot while assisting a child with a medical call at a Juneteenth event at Roberts Park in Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, they said that basically they were having this celebration. They had all of these food trucks there. It was this big black community celebration or whatever. This child had a serious medical issue. Someone dialed 911. The ambulance shows up. EMS gets shot. Why? Who knows? Probably because there's just a bunch of black people there. Maybe they hate first responders. I don't know, but it just happens. The crowd goes crazy. How is this? You know, you hear this group, all of them there would say, well, we stand with Black Lives Matter. But Black lives don't matter to you because you're when you shoot an EMS person, what you're doing is that automatically police have to show up to the scene and all you're doing is basically taking away the aid away from the child that needed it, the black child that needed the aid, that actually had the ambulance called for them. wind up being in a more compromised situation because somebody in your own community was too stupid and couldn't help themselves but to shoot an EMS person for whatever reason. You don't care about black lives. You never have. It's plain and simple, just thugs acting like thugs, and nobody wants to say what it is, but that's what's happening. That's basically what's taking place here. So there was actually another deadly shooting in Oakland, California as well, same on Saturday, on Juneteenth, and they're basically twerking and dancing all on top of this ambulance. And as I've said before, what is this supposed to accomplish? Seriously, somebody answer this question for me. And I've talked about this with other events that have taken place when there was either a death of some black person or what have you. They can't find one day. I mean, like, remember the George Floyd anniversary? And the one of the reporters was actually just on the scene trying to report what was happening. You had the George Floyd Memorial taking up this whole entire intersection. And then what takes place? 30 shots fired in about 30 seconds because it's the hood. And you know what? These people can't take one day to cut out the stupidity. They can't. This is the problem with this hip hop culture. And a lot of people are saying it's hip hop culture. It's really black culture, to be honest with you. And people want to blame all these other things. They want to say, oh, it's the white man, it's this, it's the government. No, it's your own community that is causing you to act like this because you're validating this behavior and you want social justice somehow. You don't get social justice when you are shooting EMS, people that are trying to actually help out a black child that had a medical issue at this celebration. You don't get to enjoy all of these other things when that's the way that you behave. Because before you realize it, ambulance aren't going to want to show up to your neighborhood. Police don't want to show up to your neighborhood. No first responders are going to want anything to do with you because they know that it's not safe. Because of stuff like this. You can't trust these people whatsoever. And they're in these situations. They're talking about all of this stuff that they want. Getting mad about George Floyd. Feeling like they want to rally behind this Black Lives Matter organization. But none of them can control themselves, have any self-control, have any ability to operate in a civilized manner, and for some reason they want all of these things to go along with it. Yeah, I'm not listening to anybody about these issues until they can act like civilized people, just respectable people. Because once again, is this about their skin color? Well, a lot of them happen to be black, but the truth is that this is about the character of these people. They have bad character. These are thugs. These are ghetto people that are acting ridiculous. They're doing things that are absolutely insane or can be considered as insane in any community. And they're doing it and they're getting a free pass from the police officers because the police don't want anything to do with it at all. And we're supposed to just give all of them these rights and whatever it is that they want. It's not even really rights at all, to be honest with you. That's not what they're talking about. What they're wanting is special treatment, which they're already getting because they're allowed to do this. They're the only group in the United States right now that is able to twerk on top of an ambulance and not get arrested for it. They're the only ones in America right now that can continue to behave this way and get a free pass somehow. Because social justice? Yeah, it sounds ridiculous, and that's because it absolutely is. So I really don't care to hear about all these issues that they want to solve and Juneteenth being a thing. If this is the normal behavior for Juneteenth, I'm not looking forward to it. Lock your doors on Juneteenth because if this is what we're supposed to be expecting, I'm not looking forward to this day next year. I'm not. Because it's just going to be another situation where black people continue to act a fool in the streets and think that it's perfectly okay just because they're black. You just watched a clip from The William Hall Show. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.